Hey there, everyone. This is Jesse Baxter. Thank you all for listening. This is The Victorious Captain Leander le Comte, with stage directions read by Isaac Kapp.
The Victorious Captain Leander le Comte, a romantic tragedy in 2 acts by Jesse Baxter. Setting: a parlor in the Duke of Normandy's estate in Normandy, France. The year is 1808. Characters:
Jesse Baxter as William Clement.
A 23-year-old man of French and English descent. Intellectual but also sentimental writer. Playwright, poet, and actor for the Versailles Players. Friend to Lieutenant Gerard Bellamy.
Luke Clopton, reading for Captain Leander le Comte.
A 24-year-old man of French and Spanish descent. Proud, lustful reincarnation of the artist formerly known as Prince. Former lieutenant to the Duke, now captain to his own battalion. Husband to Isabella le Comte, friend to the Duke of Normandy.
Holly Vanderhyde, reading the part of Isabella le Comte.
A 23-year-old woman of French and Venetian descent. Calm, mature caretaker. Lady of society. Wife to Captain Leander le Comte.
Scott as the Duke of Normandy.
A 30-year-old man of French and Moroccan descent. Generally jovial, compassionate host. Duke of the French region of Normandy. Friend to Lieutenant Gerard Bellamy, also friend to Captain Leander le Comte.
John Markham as Lieutenant Gerard Bellamy.
A 23-year-old man of French descent. Amiable yet passionate hero. Lieutenant to the Duke's battalion. Friend to the Duke, in love with Amelia de Brabant.
Taylor Hart as Amelia de Brabant.
A 20-year-old woman of French and Sicilian descent. Enthusiastic, hopeful ingenue. Lady of society, daughter of a Sicilian wine merchant. In love with Lieutenant Gerard Bellamy.
Vincent Acosta Lemos as Bertram.
A 32-year-old man of French and English descent. Wary but caring overseer. Butler of the Duke's estate. Friend to Helene. Helene. An 18-year-old woman of French descent. Alert and worried seeker. Maid of the Duke's estate, she is also mute by birth. Friend to Bertram. Act 1. Helene enters, followed by Bertram.
Will you not tell me what it was Lieutenant Bellamy spoke to our master just now?
Helene shakes her head.
Oh, Helene, if we are to accommodate more troublesome company, I must know of it. Is that the case?
Helene nods her head.
Well then, I am shocked the master would not tell me so.
Bertram?
The Duke enters with a letter, followed by Lieutenant Bellamy and his fiancée, Amelia de Brabant.
I learn in this letter that Captain Leander le Comte and his wife will be joining our party very soon.
Given the speed of the post, I should think it were this afternoon.
It is this afternoon, dearest.
See that another guest room is prepared for them, Bertram.
Yes, sir.
Bertram exits.
And Helene, we will have the finest dinner for our guests. See that the cook prepares the rarest meats and pours the richest wines.
Helene nods and exits.
Your Grace, if you would permit me, there is another friend of mine that, given your hospitality and general graciousness, I have taken the liberty to invite.
Oh, his name?
William Clement. He is a poet and a playwright. Not of military trade, but his father and mine were farm laborers together, and their bought land was shared between them. I've known this man since we were boys, sir. He lives by his chosen trade, the mind of an actor and the soul of a poet. I should think him an interesting guest in your prestigious home.
Well, let him come, but what of his religious standing?
He himself is a proclaimed Puritan, your grace.
Then we shall have much trouble here.
He is not one to persecute nor condemn. He is merely distant at times, for no apparent reason but his faith.
Then he is welcome. We'll have a room prepared for him as well.
I hope you shall not mind should I wait Captain and Madame le Comte at the gate.
Do what you must, your grace. My darling Amelia and I shall not mind the privacy.
When is your wedding to take place?
Why, every day. Tomorrow.
Be wise in your exchange till then.
The Duke exits.
I thought we would be alone with the Duke on this excursion.
And so did I until our host received this letter.
And what about this writer friend of yours? How long have you known of his coming?
Only the evening before, my love, I assure you. Please know I would not blot our rendezvous for this entire estate. Once we are wed, we will be all the world. All else shall disappear, just as that starry night I saw you first.
My father's festival. The terrace was bathed in light, and I felt then that all was as it should be.
It was your cousin's wedding that I knew. 'Twas then I asked you to be mine, forever.
And tomorrow the minister shall come, and in the witness of the Duke we shall be wed.
So let us play these pleasant games until that time, yes?
I suppose. I trust and honor the Duke as you do.
The greatest of men. I owe my life to him, as well as my troth to you.
I am glad that when my love is far too bashful, he has friends that will speak for him.
Oh, judge me not for that, dear one.
Bertram re-enters.
Where was my master last? Do you recall?
Just at the gate, awaiting the arrival of his friends, the captain and Madame le Comte.
And he would not inform me? It is my duty to announce his grace's guests.
Bertram exits again. Helene enters and looks like, where is everyone?
By the gate.
Helene nods and exits.
What do you know of this Captain le Comte?
Very little. I never had the honor of fighting with him. I believe he held my position as the Duke's lieutenant before being set in command of his own battalion. He has surpassed his youth, it seems, doing with the figure of a lamb the feats of a lion, for his status is unusual for a man of his years, and knowing how much faith the Duke has held in me, I can only imagine the responsibilities dealt in the Comte's charge.
And his figure? Is it so unimposing?
His pride and surety of skill outboast his slight physique, and what he lacks in stature he satisfies in confidence. I saw him once in Normandy. Our regiments were crossing paths, and though we'd never met before, his eye on me was keen and near familiar, as if he knew his thought of me on sight. His manner of man is one I have never understood.
And of his wife? What do you know of her?
Bertram and Helene re-enter.
The Captain le Comte and his wife, Madame le Comte.
Enter the Duke, escorting Isabella le Comte, as Captain Leander le Comte walks beside.
Welcome to my blessed estate. Here may you find the little wonders of a nobleman's inheritance.
Indeed, it is a lush and bounteous place, fit for a king, no less a duke. You are most gracious to have welcomed us.
I've not forgotten your good service to me, Captain, nor ever known this radiant being called your wife. You are a fortunate man.
You are too kind, good sir. I am only too glad that my husband has thought to bring me. Too often has he been called away to some business in the countryside, and I have not had the fortune to join him.
I hope we shall be provided with some entertainment during our stay, your grace. Weekends in the country can be ever so dull without some festivities.
According to my friend Lieutenant Bellamy, we are to expect a playwright and a poet brought up in the southern farmlands.
Well, that will be something.
Have you met Lieutenant Bellamy?
I do recognize the face. How do you do, Lieutenant?
I am well, Captain le Comte. Madame le Comte.
Charmed.
And here is his betrothed, Amelia de Brabant.
How are you, dear?
Pleased to meet you.
I swear that you and I have met before.
I cannot recall a time or place.
Nevertheless, I could not forget a face, particularly one such as yours. So tell me, Who is this playwright and poet that you speak of, your grace?
A childhood friend of Bellamy's, raised by his side, I hear.
He is an actor as well.
And a Puritan.
A Puritan actor? Those two natures seem entirely contradictory.
You should not make fun, darling. I am sure he is a very pleasant man.
Indeed, my Lady Le Comte is correct. His heart is the very epitome of compassion.
And from all I hear, his mind the very pinnacle of knowledge.
I should think he were Christ himself, you flatter him so. For my part, I do not care to bore myself in the company of a man who holds a Bible beside his pen and ink.
Please do not use such harsh words in the presence of the man himself, Captain le Comte. He is a dear friend of my Gerard's, and were it my will, I would have him treated favorably.
Then thy will be done, my lady. For your sake, I will treat him well.
As I have told the Duke, my friend, Monsieur Clement is not a severe man. I am sure he should treat us all with a generous spirit, and will be mightily grateful for his place in our party.
Lieutenant Bellamy speaks well. I could hear him moralize a fortnight long.
It is an honor to be spoken so well of by such nobility, Captain le Comte.
Well, shall we go to the gates and greet your friend, Gerard?
Oh, at once.
Do follow us, Captain, if you will.
With hearty thanks, we will remain and wait.
The Duke, Lieutenant Bellamy, and Amelia exit, followed by Bertram and Helene.
A pitiful sty this is. But not everything is the palace, I suppose.
I wish you would be civil, Leander, particularly towards this new fellow. He may be a good man.
So he may be. I do not doubt it. But hear me, Isabella, I shall not stand for mockery. If this Puritan clown should laugh for my speck of sawdust, would that his plank might crush him.
You are so very cruel. Why have you changed?
I have not changed. I am simply not the vision you once held of me.
I remember marrying a man whose greatest asset was his kindness.
I remember marrying a woman whose greatest asset was her silence. Dreams fade fast, do they not?
Leander, how may I remain your wife if I know that I shall not be heard?
What would you with me?
That you become the man I knew. That you respect this home. That you honor the guests the Duke invites, and not allow your pride to be your better.
You ask much. But I am yours and you are mine, and so I shall attempt at this civility. What need I be harsh to a man I have not met? I should think him decent before I know him otherwise, and until that time I shall call him friend.
You would do what I ask?
And wish to offer more, for I too remember the love that we once shared. In my eyes you were every woman then. The greatest qualities each possessed were yours. How could a man not love the woman that I knew?
And now? What of this woman?
And now this woman is my wife.
Then I am sorry matrimony should have lessened her in your esteem.
Well, we shall entertain this writer, in despite of his debated moral rigidity.
Bertram and Helene re-enter.
Monsieur William Clement.
Enter the Duke with William Clement, followed by Bellamy and Amelia, arm in arm.
Welcome to my blessed estate. Here may you find the little wonders of a noble man's inheritance.
Did he not say that before?
I do not think so.
I am awed beyond all words to see this magnificent place. And these, your beautiful guests. What are their names?
Well, here is
Captain Leander le Comte of Calais.
I am glad you are with us, Monsieur Clement.
and his wife, Madame le Comte.
I am very honored, Madame le Comte.
The honor is mine, Monsieur Clement. We hear you are quite the poet.
I attempt to be worth my reputation. I have not been very successful, I'm afraid.
Now give yourself credit, William. I do not believe any of the rest of us have written for the players in Versailles.
Co-written, and yes, I have done much, but have achieved very little.
We shall not hold that against you, sir. You are welcome among the rest of us.
I am most grateful for that. And if I may be of any service to any of you, I am at your disposal.
Captain le Comte, I ought to show you and your wife the gardens. Monsieur Clement, you may join us, but I would have Bertram show you your room first. It is imperative that you are comfortable here, and for a man of your figure that may prove challenging.
I am most indebted to you, your grace.
The Duke exits with Captain le Comte and Isabella, followed by Bellamy and Amelia.
Shall I carry this for you, sir?
Oh, thank you. Take care. It is very heavy.
Yes, books, I suppose.
Yes, and some of my writing.
They said a moment ago that you were an actor as well. Is this true?
I am a student of play acting, yes.
You know a great many speeches, then.
Only my own. Shall I do one for you?
I would be honored.
Let me see what I remember. Dark are the deeds that I am bound to do. Oh, what fair day preceded this troubled night! Now Jupiter thunders in the clouds, Vulcan girds my arms with iron, and Mars himself ignites me with a fury that only deities may comprehend. But are these tears from heaven falling on my head? They may be tears of Venus, that old Olympian harlot, but every god and goddess else should look to my example as the pinnacle of justice in this wicked world. There is not a man without corruption here. And if there is, these heathen fools have stamped him out. The only one who's closest to a true and honest fellow is my dear brother Baccio, who warned me of this treachery in womankind and might have aided in preventing it had I not heeded the old babbler I called virtue. For all these years of trust I planted in my Lieutenant Russo, he could not but deceive me and blind me to the greatest misfortune to come upon man. I say it is the greatest, for I have no fear for death or mortal injury. But to be cuckolded by a woman promised me brings shame upon my head that is a greater task to disregard than if it was cut off altogether. Soon justice shall be made complete in me.
That was a passionate piece of work.
I ought to have spoken one of my finished pieces. This one I spoke I have not completed yet.
An unfinished play?
Yes. The Victorious Captain Salvatore D'Agostino, a tale of romance and revenge.
Quite a title, if I may say so. How much of it is written?
Hardly anything. A speech, a bit of banter, nothing more.
I would have you hear the speeches in this room. Sometimes they are better than a play.
And why is that?
Our master, the Duke, is very good friends with Captain le Comte. They fought together before the captain held his own battalion. The Duke has invited him for many a weekend stay along with other company. The Duke has a reputation for surrounding himself with the most exquisite of people, beautiful and captivating.
And what of this?
Though he is married, the Captain le Comte is very young and fleet of spirit.
Ah, I guess what you are meaning.
Captain le Comte has kept an eye for every woman but his own.
How could a man ever betray nature's great rarity, Madame le Comte?
With great talent, yet with little subtlety.
He is a fool. I am sorry for his sake, as well as hers.
Oh, the banter I have seen within this parlor, Monsieur Clement. I would not be surprised should another ensue this afternoon.
He would not dare attempt. Not with my friend Gerard's fiancée, Mademoiselle de Brabant.
Given their initial encounter upon their meeting, I would not be surprised.
Oh, I would you were my ears in this parlor. Thus could this truth become a marvelous fiction, and my creation might become immortal truth. And I would you were my eyes, mademoiselle, that every detail of each exchange might be remembered. The both of you would be my greatest allies.
We would be hesitant, sir, to bring such deeds to light. We're not actors. Common scandal is not our amusement.
Nor should it be. But if life is as fascinating as a play, then mustn't a play reflect life? If every man's experience is more meaningful than my art, then my art must reflect every man's experience.
Now come, Monsieur Clement. We must not meddle in troublesome matters.
Then humor me. Grant me a favor, an experiment, if you will, and I will show you how foul deeds may be converted into beauty.
What think you, Helene? Ought we to perform this man's experiment, or ought we remain loyal servants to the Duke with neutral eyes and ears?
Helene gives the thumbs up.
Then you will do it? Hurrah! Oh, my friends, I will not give you cause for regret in this.
I certainly hope so.
Well, to my quarters, then. Lead the way.
Bertram and William exit. Enter the Duke with Isabella and Lieutenant Bellamy, followed by Leander and Amelia.
How did you enjoy the gardens, Madame le Comte?
Positively glorious in every respect. You are quite the connoisseur of greenery, Your Grace.
So I hear that your father is a Sicilian merchant, Mademoiselle de Brabant. Is this so?
It is, Captain le Comte. He met with the Duke on his Grace's Eastern campaign, and they quickly became inseparable.
I was in the company of the Duke when first he landed in Sicily, Captain le Comte.
Well, I assumed so, given the brief time of your engagement with Mademoiselle de Brabant. When is the nuptial day?
Why, no later than...
A week from hence.
A week?
Yes, of course. You yourself agreed to it, Your Grace. Do you remember?
But, darling, I thought...
A week? Of course, I must have forgotten. We were quite mistaken when speaking of it earlier, Gerard.
Yes, I suppose we were. Time does go on crutches until love has all its rights.
So they say. And how idyllic a pair of lovebirds the two of you are. Do you not think so, Isabella?
Indeed. How fond a reminder of young love.
Quite right. Well, shall we see what is to be done about lunch? I ordered a luscious one for our party this afternoon.
Your Grace, you will pardon me, but have you noticed something? Each time we enter a room, you are always rushing us off to somewhere else. Are you distracted, sir?
Will you go with me, Captain le Comte?
I will.
If I may, might I have a word with my husband before we go anywhere else?
Of course. Gerard, Mademoiselle de Brabant, if you would come with me.
The Duke exits, followed by Lieutenant Bellamy and Amelia.
What now, Isabella?
I am mortified that you would dare torment young Amelia in such a way.
When had the asking of several questions been declared as a specified torment?
Leander, I believe it was very clear that she and Lieutenant Bellamy are eloping.
Well, you will forgive me, but how was I to know that?
It was implied. The way they looked, the way they spoke. You recognize it, I'm sure you do.
I suppose you're right. I noted the sparkle in her eye.
And the wave in his hair.
How they would sigh and laugh during our walk.
Every nervous gesture they would demonstrate indicated their secret venture.
Yes. I think it is a pity. They are both so young. Suppose they should meet another person and each be pulled into their separate paths. What should be done then?
They are no younger than we were.
Well, shall we see about this lunch the Duke has spoken of?
Someone ought to remain for when Monsieur Clement returns.
Then by all means do wait upon Monsieur Clement.
Leander exits. William enters.
Oh, Madame le Comte, why... Where is everyone else?
Are you prepared to go into lunch?
Lunch? Lunch sounds wonderful. I apologize. Were you waiting on me?
Not for very long, don't worry.
The bed that the Duke arranged for me is far too small, but otherwise they are good quarters. I thought to get some writing done this afternoon.
What do you write of, poet?
I write of people such as you, my lady.
Of people such as me? I had heard you were a holy man. Why, then, you must write of all our imminent deaths.
What makes you say such things? I write of beauty, of honor, of virtue. I do not condemn the fortune that you and your husband live by. I rather glorify it. What seems frivolity to lesser men, I write of in celebration.
You are an odd man, poet. I find you humorous.
I am pleased to be found in your fancy, my lady.
Enter the Duke, Captain le Comte, Lieutenant Bellamy and Amelia, followed by Bertram and Helene, carrying platters.
I have decided that for an occasion such as this, lunch would be best served in this very parlor. Do you not agree, Gerard?
I could not think of a more perfect place for this afternoon's meal.
Come, let us have music. Bertram shall play, and I would hear Gerard sing.
Bertram hands Helene his platter and goes to grab his guitar.
Oh, I beseech you, your grace, do not have me sing. I would not disgrace that divine thing, music, to sing so poorly in its honor.
Enough of these trifles, my darling. Those who commend your sweet voice speak nothing but truth.
Very well, very well. Enough of this urging, I shall sing.
What shall I play for you, sir?
I would hear a song of merriment and love, Lieutenant.
Are you familiar with the merriment song of the southern country?
I know it by heart, sir.
Then let us begin. Oh, bring me some merriment, merriment, oh, the life we owe is fleeting. Bring me some wine and some wassail below to the grove of lovers meeting. So bring me your cheer and your fancies here, your heart and health restoring. Fill the clean air with your trumpets' blare, the spirits of love are imploring. Awaken the rascals, awaken the dames, awake the miser dozing. We'll have our musicians to play us some staves before the clergy's imposing. So bring me your cheer and your fancies here, your hearts and health restoring. Fill the clear air with your trumpets' blare, the spirits of love are imploring. Do you remember, Your Grace, at the front lines of Bordeaux?
Cavalrymen, frightened for their lives, and you sang this same shanty. It warmed their hearts and roused them with courage that such a man as Bellamy would sing in the face of the enemy.
Though some might not favor the song, eh, William?
Come, poet! How is it you do not make merry with us?
He is commanded to sing in church only.
Or he refuses to join in our worship of depravity.
Or he refuses to join with the depraved whatsoever.
You all mistake me. I am sincerely gladdened in your rejoicing. Truly. However, while you sing of merriment, I myself cannot but feel doleful.
Why is that, good friend?
To speak frankly, I am truly honored to be a guest in this the Duke's estate. But in a week's time, none shall remember my name. Not one of you. You all will be canonized in history for feats in battle and service, or you will belong to such names in marriage. I am obsolete. I am riffraff. I will not marry into fortune, nor will I carve any for my own. Unless I somehow publish a great final work, and it is called The Soul of Mankind by all the people, then I will have achieved my highest expectation, the excellence of the written word.
And until you attain such excellence, Father, what shall you do?
Practice.
Your Grace, you have brought a foolish man into your home.
Foolishness comes in many varieties, Captain. I much prefer the foolishness of men such as Monsieur Clement than men with such ill-attuned sensibilities that have forgotten their manners.
Well said, Your Grace. Why should a man not dream to achieve much? God knows a woman may not dream in such a way. So wherefore do men inhibit other men from accomplishing their desires? Do you not think, Leander, that Monsieur Clement's ability to conjure up a tale of excitement and pleasure is just as noble as your ability to lead 1,000 men in battle?
You are a very spirited woman, Madame le Comte.
My wife speaks out of turn.
She speaks the truth, if you will pardon me saying so. William, please understand that I have never thought less of you for your civilian life, nor never thought that anyone should do so.
I thank you for that, Gerard. Although it does not matter much. I do not wish to bend to the opinions of others, therefore I shall not beg for compliments nor demand decency from each of you.
If I may, Monsieur Clement, I wonder if I might commission a bit of a demonstration of your skill with the pen. A bit of reading from your own work might help lighten the captain's spirits towards your profession. Might it not, Captain le Comte?
Perhaps that is it. To hear you mention it does lighten my spirit a great deal.
Then would you write us a scene, Monsieur Clement?
I think I will.
Then it is settled. Let us clear the air of this petty quarrel with a reading of some written work by our own playwright. And in the meantime, I have a shipment of tobacco needs inspection. Would you gentlemen care to join me?
I myself would fancy some tobacco.
I will go as well. Captain?
Certainly.
The Duke exits, followed by William, Captain le Comte, and Lieutenant Bellamy.
Madame le Comte, I hope we may become very good friends. Your talent for speaking has already impressed me beyond words.
We are both women from noble families, Mademoiselle de Brabant. I do not doubt that we should become good friends. I do wish to apologize for my husband's indelicate behavior earlier. He may not say the most tactful things at times. However, you must know that need you confide anything in me, I will listen.
Oh, I took no offense to anything your husband spoke. It is merely that Gerard is eager to divulge our plan, and I am not so ready.
He is a good man, your Gerard. I could not have picked a better one myself. Was I unmarried, you would not have won him so easily.
Well, despite his troubled tongue, your husband is quite a prize himself.
Oh, I know it. And he himself revels in it most scandalously. I hardly ever prevail in an argument against that man.
Did you see his portrait that the Duke keeps on our way to the garden?
I did not.
Come with me.
Amelia exits, followed by Isabella. The Duke enters, followed by Captain le Comte, Lieutenant Bellamy, and William.
What now? Where have our women gone?
They were subject to boredom and so ran off.
Is this so, Bertram?
Not quite, Your Grace. You see,
I tell you, Lieutenant Bellamy, you have convinced me to command a campaign of my own to Sicily. Your fiancée is a delight to the eyes.
You ought to speak of your own wife. A marvelous woman is she. What say you, William? Is Madame le Comte not a progeny of good Venetian blood?
If not in descent of the angels themselves. Indeed, you ought to honor your own, Captain.
Your Grace, I have often wondered, why have you not yet been married?
Find me a woman who may tame my most wayward spirit, and I will have her for my wife.
Doubtless it shall occur.
Oh, I await the day.
Do not await so eagerly, for you will find that it is far better for a man to be unruly and free than bound and miserable. So did I learn the moment after I was named husband. Marriage is my enemy, and yet I am covenanted to bear its punishment until death.
A cynical speech for so young a speaker. You might discourage Gerard from marrying his love.
Would that I could.
And yet the executor of this punishment, as you call it, is so gracious and noble a person that I cannot imagine he would ever wish to share your years with any other. You are a fortunate man. Do not for the world trivialize that which you call yours. Was I a man of military profession, and the entire world of eligible women were before me to choose, I would esteem your wife above them all.
What little you know of the entire world, Monsieur Clement.
Isabella and Amelia enter.
Gentlemen, we have not finished our lunch.
I was wondering if someone would note it, madame. These sandwiches are still fresh and...
Come to think of it, Bertram, why do we not eat in the garden?
A splendid idea, Your Grace. What better place than the garden to lunch this afternoon?
I would have been content in this parlor.
So would I.
Then let our party split in halves. Those who will may come with me into the garden, and those who will not may remain in here. Come along, those in favor.
Exit the Duke and Lieutenant Bellamy, followed by Helene with 2 platters of lunch.
Will you come outdoors with us, Leander?
In a moment.
Isabella exits.
Captain le Comte, you and I have ever been at odds. Whatever I have said or done to insult you, I must ask you forgive me.
No, good sir, I must beg for your pardon for my shrewish behavior. I may properly assure you that within an hour or so my gloomy demeanor will have lightened.
An hour? What may transpire in an hour?
Within an hour, or less, my respite will have refreshed me from the day's festivities.
Helene returns and grabs another platter.
Excuse me, Monsieur Clement? Will you be lunching in the parlor or the garden?
On further thought, I believe I will join the party in the garden. Allow me to carry Madame le Comte's victuals as well as my own. The 2 of you may remain in here.
William exits, carrying 2 lunch platters.
It appears I was the only one who wished to lunch indoors after all.
You need not lunch alone. I shall eat with you. Might we have our food?
Bertram hands Amelia her lunch. Helene hands Leander his lunch. Bertram slowly hovers toward the back of the couch, where there is a small table and a writing pad. He shows them to Helene, and Helene shakes her head. Bertram nods assuredly and prepares to write behind the couch. He writes during the ensuing conversation.
Have you ever visited Normandy before, Mademoiselle de Brabant?
Not an inch of it. I've only known the southern countryside and my father's home in Sicily. I feel so ignorant, as though I am seeing the entire world for the first time.
So you have not been to the beaches?
We crossed them on our way to the Duke's manor.
Tomorrow we must walk there. There you shall behold the rocky cliffs and observe the tide as it crashes upon the stones beneath. And on the glimmering horizon I have heard mention of men who have glimpsed the silhouettes of mermaids leaping out of the sea.
Those are porpoises, not mermaids.
And you claim to be so ignorant? Have you ever sailed one of your father's ships?
Often as a younger girl, yet as I grew I spent my days more often indoors.
Well then, the world is opened wide for you, isn't it?
I suppose so. It seems very likely once Gerard and I are wed that I may see a great deal of the world before I am old.
Yes, perhaps you will.
You are a charming conversationalist.
On the contrary, I am lost for words, a trait that is unusual to me. So many times am I prone to prattle and drone and all sorts of terms for speaking too much, but somehow with you I am beyond words.
Why am I so unique that you feel you have gone beyond words?
Oh, Mademoiselle de Brabant, I think you fully realize your ability to make men speechless.
Whatever do you mean?
I am curious if other Sicilian women may be found so intriguing, or if this mysterious nature is possessed by you only.
Captain le Comte, why do you speak so strangely?
It is unlike me to speak my heart so boldly upon first meeting, but you are beyond a dream in my eyes. Please understand that I adore you, utterly, endlessly, helplessly, and that which I feel for you is near incomparable to what I have felt for any woman else.
Forgive me, sir, but I must reprove you. Have you not a wife? Am I not betrothed to the good Lieutenant Bellamy, the Duke's own brother-in-arms? What sinful madness have you embraced that you should think you love me?
Doubt not, my love, the tempest of affection, nor that it is for you, divinity of earth. That which you call sinful, would I could make it saintly in your eyes. That which you call madness, would I could make you call it nature.
You may not enforce such foolishness upon me, nor anything that my Gerard would object to.
Object not to your own, your head, your hand, your heart, for such am I, if you will have me be. Though your betrothed may love you civilly, I will depict the soaring heights of love, the maddening depths, the sighs and groans of longing, the final eclipse of bliss.
I do not desire such things.
And yet you stir them, awakening such thoughts and distractions in me. I cannot rest, for I will dream of you. Cannot awaken, for I will see you oft.
I pray you, speak these things no longer. When you speak of dreams and fancies, I can feel nothing but terror and unrest. Despite your amorous suit, I cannot and will not love you.
You dare be cruel and spit in the face of he who loves you? When my intent is of the purest form, the rarest type of love that I have never borne for any else?
Such love is owed to your wife, as mine is owed to my betrothed. The sweetest man I've ever met. You know him, sir. Is he not the noblest heart, the very example of man's goodness?
Well, so he is, I'll not deny it. But I am of a worthy strain as well.
No, you know the wrongful things you speak, and you must know my breed of woman will not bear it. You will excuse me, sir.
You will not speak this to anyone. Do you hear me?
Emilia looks back at him and exits.
She will not hear me. She insists upon my shackles and her righteousness. She hides behind the comfort of her lover. It is a shame. I might have offered her much, but I might have expected she would have proven resolute. Bellamy, that paragon of a man. Why, I could taint his virtue sooner than this cold and stubborn wench, and relish the deed. Well, time will tell how I must pay for this. And yet it is rare a woman would resist the ingenious Le Comte. I assume I have your silence in this matter?
Our pay is not to report the matters in these rooms, sir. You have my word and hers, for she is mute by birth.
Very good. I am assured, then.
Leander exits.
What is to be done, Helene? We agreed to share these words with Monsieur Clement, and many of them I have recorded here. And yet I swore for both of us that we would not divulge the captain's secret. Of course, upon recollection, we swore not to report that which was spoken in this room. My writing, however, I may bestow on any man. And so I shall reveal what has occurred, with nary a blight on my own conscience.
William enters.
I have just beheld a drama in the garden greater than one I could ever write. Mademoiselle de Brabant is weeping on Lieutenant Bellamy's shoulder, and Captain Le Comte is attempting to explain what happened in this parlor. Please, I beseech you, inform me on what discourse has just filled this room.
Monsieur Clement, my fears have been confirmed. In this very room, Captain Le Comte has made overtures of love to Mademoiselle Amelia de Brabant. I secretly transcribed their words for your sake, though it was at great risk and great difficulty. Helene may also verify these things.
Can you confirm these things are true?
Helene nods.
Then I shall read this transcription of the spoken word. Here, give it me.
Upon reflection, I could not transcribe all. Some words of the captain were beyond belief, and though she refused them, I thought 'twould be sinful to write them all.
These words? Did Captain Le Comte truly speak these words?
He did, sir. And more than that I could not put pen to.
Such divine, poetic words used to so foul a purpose. 1,000 lifetimes could not bring me these words.
I pray you, sir, do not recall them in your play. It will be shameful to all the house to hear this lechery played in a farce.
Oh, I shall not mock. I shall reshape these words. I shall make sinful substance chaste in action. The bold endeavor of Le Comte shall be the loving suit of Salvator d'Agostino. And in this parlor I shall read him his words, so he may see his failure has become my success.
You had best be quick, then. His Grace will want to hear this scene before the dinner bell has been rung. I certainly hope this dialogue will provide you with inspiration to complete it.
Oh, this would satisfy me for 20 plays. One scene from this will be as nothing to me.
William exits. Enter the Duke, followed by Lieutenant Bellamy and Captain Le Comte.
I cannot begin to apologize for the dismay I have caused Mademoiselle de Brabant.
Do not give it another thought, Captain. She is a sensitive soul, and I greatly regard her for that. Your comments on her ignorance in the world were most valid, and it is soon to be remedied. Once she and I are wed, we shall travel further than ever His Grace has gone.
And go with my blessing. May she learn all there is to know of this wondrous world of ours. Has Captain Le Comte heard the story of how you wooed your Amelia?
You had best tell him. I fear I will blush.
After several visits to Sicily across many months, my lieutenant seemed to note the daughter of my friend Gustave de Brabant, the wine merchant, more and more. And only just a month ago he told me of his wild affection for her and how he thought himself too dull-witted to woo such a one himself. I knew there was to be a mass that night, and so I took that part of Bellamy in some disguise to win her in his name. In such disguise I gained approval from the lady and her father, and thus was my lieutenant engaged.
That is quite a story.
And what of you, Captain? How did you woo your Isabella?
I did not woo her. Our union was arranged. Happily arranged, yet arranged all the same, though many a rival would have seen me dead first. My brother, the Count Hector Le Comte, befriended her father, Sir Emile de Rougemont, thereby putting me in good standing with the old knight's kin, and thus I was wed to my Isabella.
So truthfully, our stories are not all too different.
We are very similar men, Lieutenant Bellamy. It is curious our paths should cross this way.
Isabella enters with Amelia.
Oh, poor dear. Are you quite all right, child?
I feel much better now. You are very kind, Madame le Comte.
I hope you understand that I meant no offense, Mademoiselle de Brabant. Are we at peace?
Yes, quite at peace.
If I may say so, Madame le Comte, you demonstrate a spirit filled with maternal gentleness. I wonder that you and Captain have no children.
I still ardently hope for it, Lieutenant. However, my husband seems opposed to the notion.
I'm not opposed. I have not considered it.
'Twould be a blessing, motherhood, to fill our all-too-empty home with children. It is the only ambition I yet may have as wife to my Leander.
That is most likely so. You ought to oblige her in that, Captain.
I will oblige her in nothing.
Nothing, sir?
I mean, that is to say, I do not like the subject.
No, all talk of tender feeling makes him anxious. I know it all too well. I ought to not have prodded you, dearest.
I ought not have answered you so coldly. When I am graced with a better mood, I may discuss the prospect of having children.
Why, 'tis a loving and fair reply. But now where has our playwright run off to?
Most like to write that scene we had requested.
You're right, and so I hope that we shall easily find him occupied in such a task. I shall go search for him.
We will follow you. Come, Amelia.
The Duke exits, followed by Lieutenant Bellamy and Amelia.
Whatever did you say to that poor girl to make her cry in such a way?
Precisely what I told you.
Do not think me simple, Leander.
You do seem rather immersed in Mademoiselle de Brabant's well-being. You might adopt her, and thereby have no cause to nag me for wanting children.
Do not mock my concern. I know that look. I know those woeful tears. They were mine when I was in Amelia. When I was told that I would not marry the man that I chose, but the man that was chosen for me.
I warn you for your impudence, Isabella. As I do not think you simple, neither should you think me weak. I will not bend to your questioning, nor have I need to answer unto you. You are no commanding officer, but my wife, and in despite of any issue, I will have your respect. If you honor your place in this society, you will not try me further.
The Duke enters with Lieutenant Bellamy and Amelia, followed by William.
And now, Monsieur Clement, we shall hear this scene at last.
Enthrall us with your skill, William. We shall give ear to your art.
I have a shameful confession to disclose. Neither my poetry nor my plays have been published in the past 5 years. Not one of my works has been completed in that time. And truthfully, I thought at first this meant that I would write no more. But since my introduction to you all, my mind has not ceased in conceiving new plays to bear the world. And now I shall read to you a scene from one. Madame le Comte, would you indulge me? I'd have you as my partner for this reading.
It would please me much, poet.
Here, we shall share the page. See, your part is first. This is the tragedy of Captain Salvatore D'Agostino. I shall read as Captain D'Agostino, and Madame le Comte shall read as Alessandra, the lady I am to woo. At your will, Madame.
I've often noticed your speechlessness in leisure company, Captain. From what I've heard, it seems most unlike you. You are the one, they say, whose manner is almost jocund on the battlefront. What need you be so solemn in such pleasant circumstance?
I wish your ladyship might know the cause of it.
That I would too. May you not tell me why?
Lady Alessandra, there is some uncanny quality you possess that causes men to become speechless in your presence.
What is this?
Quiet. Do proceed.
I must say I have been unaware of such a quality.
Your unawareness has not inhibited its potency.
I greatly doubt its potency, as now you speak with great alacrity.
Dear lady, it is not often that I unveil my heart, nor often that such fancying passions invade it. But you are as the angels in my eyes. Please understand that I adore you, utterly, endlessly, helplessly, and that which I feel for you is near incomparable to what I have felt for any woman else.
Why, this is...
Hush, love, they've not concluded.
You forget yourself, Captain.
Or you forget your own, your head, your hand, your heart, for such am I, if you will have me be. Forgive my rude speech. I am a soldier and not versed in tender suits of love, but that I know I will practice. And so, divinity of earth, doubt not my love, that tempest of affection, nor that it be for you.
It is impossible!
Shh!
Your degree of man, good sir, is not for me. Despite your amorous suit, I cannot and will not love you. Therefore speak these things no longer.
You will not hear me? You, who are so good, will not consider my plea? You stir in me the soaring heights of love, the maddening depths, the sighs and groans of longing, and knowing this you will not consider?
How did this happen?
What may you offer me that the Duke might not double in proportion?
A wise lady.
The rarest type of love that I have never borne for any else. This I
Stop
would...
this! Stop this play acting! Do you mock me, Puritan? Is this to be my trial by fire, this play?
Leander, what is the meaning of this?
I see your true intent, you dog. I see now all too clearly the kind of man you are. A scoundrel with no work, and thus you go about and make us, the honest, appear as fools.
My friend, why do you make such a spectacle?
I came into your home for a weekend of leisure and amusement, your grace. And while your poet here may soliloquize and play at a somewhat droll sort of act, I have had my fill of this ridicule. So you had best expel him to the other room, or I shall go and tear those pages from his hands and rip them with my teeth.
Leander leaps towards William, but the Duke and Bellamy hold him back.
Quickly, William! Into the other parlor! The captain has gone mad!
Oh, let him rage! I do not fear him.
We would not have you hurt on our account. For our sakes, leave at once.
William exits.
What mean you this savagery? Will you not reason as any decent man would do?
Blackout. End of Act 1. Act 2. Bertram and Helene enter first. Later enters Captain le Comte, followed by Lieutenant Bellamy. Captain le Comte confronts Bertram.
Where has he gone?
I know not, sir.
And what of you? What is your answer?
Helene is frightened and cannot say anything.
Come, Captain, what wrong has my friend William done that has incensed you so against him?
Do not ask that. He is a devil that knows far too much, and he must answer for it.
Captain le Comte exits, followed by Lieutenant Bellamy. The Duke enters, followed by William.
Remain in here, Monsieur Clement. I think the captain has passed by this room just now. If he is not made reasonable soon enough, I may have need for that within my cabinet drawer.
Your cabinet drawer, Your Grace?
I do not like the domestic use of it, but it is there should I be given no alternative.
The captain need not die for the sake of my writing.
He may need to die for the sake of decency. Whilst I have guests, they must be well protected.
I thank you, Your Grace, but...
Wait here until I return.
The Duke exits.
In all my years of sharing homes, I have never seen a host take such measures for his guests.
You've brought great danger to this house, Monsieur Clement, and I, in part, am guilty for giving you that naughty record. And now his grace will kill Captain le Comte.
He will kill no one, and none are in great danger. This all will pass the moment some reason is suggested to Captain le Comte's irrational brain. Consider it, my friend. What can the captain say when asked the reason for his anger towards my play? He'll not confess his deviance, not he who warned Amelia not to do so. He'll do no more than laugh and call an end to his feverish passion. What sort of drink is that?
Red wine, sir. The rarest in all of northern France.
I'll have some, if I may.
William walks over and pours himself a cup of wine.
But, sir, what is to be done with Mademoiselle de Brabant?
My friend Gerard loves her entirely. After this reading of mine, she must be haunted by the event, and she will disclose Captain le Comte's secret. And when she does, words will be spoken and honor will be regained. In short, the tragedy of Captain Salvatore will not be realized. In any case, not by Gerard and Amelia. After this play is written, I cannot foresee a long career for myself. I'll buy a pasture and spend eternity in tending livestock or growing a vineyard. Think how the fruits of paradise must taste.
Monsieur Clement, I...
Isabella enters.
My husband's rage is incomprehensible.
I cannot think you would believe the reason for it.
There can be no reason. For what? A simple scene? His upset is unfounded. It was a perfectly good scene, poet.
Are you familiar with the craft of play acting, Madame le Comte?
I unfortunately am not.
Well, you were very good.
Thank you. It is very difficult, I suppose. Belief in the fictive circumstance.
Yes, I suppose you're right. How is the imaginary ever to become truthful? How may the humble playwright William Clement play the raging, tempestuous military commander Salvatore d'Agostino? How may he love Isabella le Comte when she must be Alessandra Graziani? I wrote a play once, many years ago, one I think you would like. Two brothers, both very different, yet still young and naive, fall in love with the same lady. The lady finds she loves both men, but in the end she must choose whose virtue she most admires. The bold and sanguine younger man whose thoughtless acts might measure to his fleeting spirit, or the gracious elder brother, whose meekness matches his profound gentility.
Most women would have chosen the younger man, in despite of his faults.
Most women would.
Have you ever loved, poet?
Many times. And yet not at all. There are some memories that I can recollect, but not a one can I ascribe to love. A boy's infatuation have I known so often, yet when given chase has only ended in regret and bitterness. But not love. Never love. I have not been so fortunate.
And why is this?
My only guess is this. I was not meant to love, merely to write of it. A paradox, it seems, for since I have not known love, how may I write of it? And thus my writing is ineffectual. And therefore I am ineffectual.
You must not say such things.
I do not say these things to incur pity in you. I feel them. It is a something you simply know and cannot name why.
Then I do pity you, for you have not known joy.
And have you?
Isabella, hurt, stands up and exits.
Forgive me, I did not mean...
Bellamy enters.
William, what have you done?
You would not understand if I told you, Gerard.
I have spent all afternoon since your little reading with Captain Le Comte, and he is wild with fury for your sake.
Did he not like the scene? I found his mood difficult to interpret.
If this perseveres, the Duke may be forced to ask one of you to leave.
Then I shall leave. My writing is not worth the captain's anguish.
I must know, William. What is this writing of yours that caused the captain to rage and my Amelia to cry?
The greatest play of the French theatre. Sit down, Gerard, and have some wine.
I feel I must after this madness.
Well said, my friend.
Bellamy goes and pours himself some wine.
Does your sect permit drinking?
It does not. But I attend a chapel near a wine press, and as the Lord has spoken, let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die.
Amen.
Clink. Drink.
I miss our home. The farmlands. I miss such lenient days.
We knew green pastures and still waters then. Such was our world, devoid of discipline, of hardship.
Of care. Oh, how the cares and worries of war invade the heart and mind.
So for the poor and hungry also. You are an adopted heir now to a duke.
And you an honored actor and playwright.
And not a penny to my name, living by luxury of you as my father did yours. When we were children, think when we were children. How we would fancy our carved branches were swords, and how we swore we'd wield real ones someday. You spoke of being in battle, and I spoke of being on stage. I owe you so very much for those times.
Not a thing, I tell you, not a thing. You were the dreamer of our world. I owe my place to what you dreamed for me.
Emilia enters.
Gerard, there is something that I feel I must tell you.
Of course, dearest, what is it?
Might we discuss it in another room?
I suppose we may. Excuse us, William.
Of course.
Bellamy and Emilia exit. The Duke enters.
The captain and his wife are on their way. Come with me.
The Duke exits, followed by William. Enter Captain le Comte, followed by Isabella.
What grievance have you with Monsieur Clement's work, Leander?
The playwright is meddlesome.
He wrote a scene. In what way is that meddlesome?
I do not like his dialogue.
Such does not make him meddlesome.
I warned you for questioning me.
You give no valid reason for your outrage. Such manner hardly becomes a child, and no more becomes a man. If you are so decidedly discontent with the poet's written words, there is no need to display it in such a fitful outburst. Rather, be the face of cunning, as one who dislikes, yet needs not stamp and rave, who demonstrates displeasure in more subtle practice.
If you knew my thoughts, dear wife, you'd know I am indeed the face of cunning.
From my perception, you do not act it well. I will no longer ask civility from you, for you've refused that appeal. But consider your reputation, the dignity attributed to your name. This you still have to lose, or gain, depending on what course you take for the remainder of our stay. Do you hear me, Leander?
Will you humiliate me further, or will you let me be?
I only wish your best. I hope someday that you will understand as much.
Isabella exits.
That playwright, charlatan, has plagiarized my rhetoric of love. He uses lines that once afforded me sweet victory to revel in my latest defeat. I am beckoned to be the face of cunning. Some sage advice arises from the blathering idiocy of my wife's rebuke. Such cunning may be useful in enticing the lieutenant. So shall I play this card of secrecy, and thus will no one guess at my forbidden longing.
Lieutenant Bellamy enters.
I have caused you much trouble with this outburst of mine, Lieutenant. I have acted like a madman, and you, in turn, have treated me as such. I must apologize. Why are you so silent, Lieutenant Bellamy?
Captain le Comte, if you will hear me, I believe there is a matter which we must discuss.
There are many matters I would discuss with you, Lieutenant.
Hear me. I shall respect the privacy of this matter, not arousing the attention of my friend the Duke, if you will do what I ask. Firstly, give me direct answer. My Emilia has told me you made vows of love to her. Is this true?
I am wounded, Lieutenant, that you should think I would betray so worthy a man as you.
Is it true?
No. Heaven defend me. You are caught in that snare, jealousy, Lieutenant. But I do not blame you for that. It is most like your lady conspires against you in this. Well, think of it. Upon our entry in this house, your Emilia made acquaintance with my wife. She most likely noted her beauty and class, and feared losing your heart to such remarkable assets. Thus she made rumor to win you back for never being lost.
There is much sense in this. But why so outright and crude a tale? It is unlike my love to be so petty.
'Tis nature, Lieutenant. What else are women but as creatures to be tamed, lest they consume us? Do not be taken in, dear Bellamy. Your love is no more noble than all other ladies, who, for their greatest qualities, are merely grievous vanities.
I cannot think so. Not of my Emilia.
Then not of your Emilia, but of all women. Doubtless they are desirable, but wavering whims are vexing to a man's constitution.
Of course. I might have supposed. What is to be done with them?
Most men endure them. Others might look to separate methods of recreation.
I cannot imagine what you mean.
We military men are much accustomed to the course of hard discipline, Lieutenant. It has granted us with supple bodies, and readied instincts. Yet oftentimes men's urges may arise that former doctrine deemed unnatural. Such urges to deny the discipline of common man, that standard which blessed the embrace of women, and turn unto his own.
I'd never choose so cursed a route.
I ought to notify you, Bellamy, that near as many men as women have found my form appealing, but never have I found an apt moment to indulge in such illicit conduct.
I pray God you never will, and that you may desist from such conversation.
You are an admirable fellow, Lieutenant. I do remember when I first saw you. Our horses passed each other, and I caught the sight of the very noblest face. I felt I knew you then, and since have dreamt of having known you. I realize you are an upright man, but I might offer you a greater knowledge of the world, if I might just compel you to bend unto me.
I am appalled, Le Comte. I cannot sanction unnatural relations, nor will I e'er partake. And furthermore, that you, a married man, should speak so carelessly of lechery, I cannot fathom it. You are a man with many blessings, and you would dispose of all for the sake of shameless lust. You are a fiend to good men, and until such time as I have confirmation, do not think yourself safe from the matter with my fiancée.
Bellamy exits.
Another tested virtue proved resilient. I must take care lest this one grows a backbone. But what is the matter with dear Le Comte? Has he aged so swiftly? Is he no longer the dashing man of war he was known to be of late? Why, I recall a man who could alter the air of a room merely by his presence, at whose appearance ladies would swoon and gentlemen stood stiff. What quality lack I that Bellamy is now the one to spark so many fires? Regardless, I must retire to the other parlor and wait for my next cue. Girl, bring me a mirror.
Leander exits, followed by Helene.
Helene, don't leave! Oh, that maid may get away with anything because of her deficiency, and therefore I am expected to explain everything.
William enters.
I managed to slip away from the Duke. What has happened?
Oh, heed me. Captain Le Comte may seem to make amends with you, but his pardon is all pretend. And now, for sport, he has attempted to seduce Bellamy.
Seduce? As in...
Yes!
Did Gerard not know of Le Comte's previous attempt?
He did. And thus he was confused by Le Comte's beckoning.
That rascal will do anything.
Emilia enters.
Oh, Monsieur Clement, excuse me, I was searching for Madame le Comte.
Mademoiselle de Brabant, how fare you?
I am perplexed, to say the least. You are a most mysterious man, Monsieur Clement. That dialogue you read did sound all too familiar.
Did it disturb you?
It did not thoroughly please me, but 'twould be wrong to blame you for my thoughts on hearing it.
Isabella enters.
I must go in and conclude my writing. It seems I haven't much time. Madame le Comte, I believe Mademoiselle de Brabant has something she wishes to tell you. You will excuse me.
William exits.
He is a strange man. Do you not think, Amelia? I may call you Amelia, may I not?
Certainly. There is, in fact, something that I feel you must know.
I am most eager to hear it, child. Come, what would you say?
From what you had spoken formerly, I surmise that you know your husband well?
Almost as well as myself. Nay, better. And understand, he means no harm in anything he has spoken to you.
But have you ever known him to be a libertine?
No, never. Why do you say these things?
I speak this for your good, Madame le Comte, and not to cause you pain. He has made vows to me. He called himself mine, swearing love to me.
No. You lie. He has not done such a thing. Though I have once imagined it, he would never.
He has, Madame. In the same words from Monsieur Clement's scene. How he discovered them I cannot guess, but they are the same words your husband voiced to me.
I will not tolerate your romantic nonsense, girl. You have written some play of your own, and I do not find it amusing.
Oh, I implore you, Madame le Comte, be compassionate. I would not jest for such a matter. You've been so kind to me, and I have come to care for you as well. That which I speak is true.
Impossible. How could I have not known this? Forgive me, Amelia, it is clear you have been wronged. I am ashamed for that man's sake, that he would dare corrupt a lovely young woman like yourself.
He has not hurt me. His frightening words are all the scars I have. Do what you will with this knowledge, madame. I only wished for you to know of it. My Gerard will provide me with just recompense. Please excuse me.
Amelia exits.
Why does this news greet me with such surprise? I am a wife to a traitor. No traitor to the Duke, nor to our homeland France, but traitor to my bed. And to my heart. God, how I have tried to love this man. How he had loved me once, when he was gentle and near excellent to me. I might have guessed from his vulgar manner that he was no longer mine, that his free spirit would have drawn his eye to those who weren't his own. So I might have avoided such disgrace. What may I do in such a circumstance? What can I do but find some way to rectify myself?
Bellamy enters.
Madame le Comte, have you seen Amelia? Madame, you seem dismayed.
I am. Beyond all reason.
If I may be your aid in any way, I shall take any opportunity to assist.
Isabella realizes something.
I would be comforted, Lieutenant. Would you do me the honor of comforting me?
Very well. I assure you, if it is that you are the victim of some great injustice, the Duke will see that all is set to rights.
My husband mistreats me so that I doubt his fealty to our marriage. He tells me that I must not cross him in anything, and every time I speak, he thinks it an offense.
Despite this, I think matters may be resolved.
How are they to be resolved? No man or woman may command his spirit. As poor a companion as he may be betimes, he is the only one that has remained.
He will be made gentle. The Duke will set all right.
The Duke cannot fulfill that which I truly long for.
And what is that, my lady?
What I crave above all? Empathy. And tenderness.
She kisses him. Bellamy stands up.
You and your husband both are determined to overwhelm me. My poor Amelia.
Bellamy, I'm so sorry. I have done wrong by you both. I'm so very sorry. It wasn't decent of me to have been so forward. The reason for it was not desire, but spite. It is true, that which Amelia has told you. The words my husband spoke to her were written in the poet's scene. I am so sorry, Bellamy.
What is this world? This pattern of misrule, where naughty deeds are issues of normalcy, where corruption is the standard of men's lives, where murder is commended and falseness is comical. What mindless entity could have conceived this disarray of dust we call refinement? We are the rogues of society. We are the lords of malice. We are the satire of mankind.
Amelia enters, followed by the Duke.
Now you have all been notified, and I may depend on each of you for your assistance.
I can wish for no greater thing, Amelia. Believe me, Lieutenant Bellamy, whatever amends may be made, regardless whether they may endanger my security, I shall undertake.
I have heard reports of shameful doings in my household. The effect of these things must be remedied.
What would you advise we do, Your Grace?
You must challenge him, for your lady's sake.
Madame le Comte is correct.
I would not for the world bereave you of your lord and husband, Madame le Comte.
Gird yourself, man. You that would boast, now take arms to be brave. Defense of that you love is above all honorable things, and if your fate's to die, you need not fear, for you will be memorialized in reverence no matter what occurs.
Well said, your grace. It is true. I must do this.
No, you need not do it, Gerard. My only wish now is to marry you and flee on to a place where we are all the world. Do you not remember the pact we once made? That love outstood all quarrels or whatever sort? The captain may be more apt a fighter, more capable than you.
Captain Le Comte enters, followed by Helene, carrying a mirror.
What do the four of you discuss without my presence?
Captain Le Comte! You have insulted the honor of my lady Amelia, and thereby have insulted mine as well. It is essential I must challenge your worth in combat as you have challenged my worth in love.
Do all of you stand by to hear his slander? Am I to be the victim of his libel? Will you hear him, Duke? And you, Isabella? My wife, do you take part in this scoundrel against me?
No further than you have taken part against me, Leander.
Then let transpire what may. I will fight you, Lieutenant.
Then let us meet in this very parlour, for it is spacious. For now we shall depart to draw our testaments. Within the hour our swords shall cross.
Within the hour, Lieutenant.
Come, Amelia, I must discuss many things with you afore then.
Bellamy and Amelia exit, followed by the Duke.
You have ruined me.
I may not credit myself with the path you have chosen, Leander. You would do best to look unto yourself.
Isabella exits. William enters with a manuscript.
Monsieur Clement.
Captain Le Comte.
I had meant to speak with you in the conclusion of your reading, but you have eluded me.
I will hear you now, Captain. Will you speak civilly?
I will be calm to my utmost capacity. Sit. Drink with me.
William sits down far away from Leander. Leander offers him the wine and ends up having to walk to him.
Thank you, Captain.
You're indeed a curious man, Monsieur Clement.
Many would tend to agree with you.
Because of your little scene, I am engaged to fight a duel with Lieutenant Bellamy.
A duel?
Yes. It seems your art has conflicted with truth.
Oh, I must say I disagree with you. I say that art supports the truth, that any good and honest man should not fear but embrace it. You need not be fearful, Captain.
I believe you know, Monsieur Clement, that men are much more complicated than abiding in honesty or wickedness.
You are, Captain. That is what I have found so fascinating.
That is your fault. You think for your religion you are superior to other men. You will have none of my debauchery. You'll merely joke of it.
I do not think myself superior, nor did I mean to write at your expense.
Well, then, in heaven's name, what did you mean to do? I know those lines you scribbled in your play. I wrote them first, before you could ever conceive their meaning.
Words cannot belong to anyone, Captain. I wrote only that which I have heard.
How did you know?
I cannot tell you that.
You have treated me more harshly than any enemy could have done. And for what reason? I loved Amelia. I would not have wooed her for any reason else. What need you cheapen that which I would call rich, and spoil that which I would call fair?
Have I done any such thing with your words? Have I not immortalized them for the purpose of my play? That love you speak of, Captain, that is the greatest muse for any writer's pen. Truly, I would we were the other man, that you were the passionate poet, and I the militant man among men. I have not your lover's figure, nor have you my rude build. Your love possesses you of such a talent as I am wanting in, a speaking of the heart. I am a man whose mind is most forthright in anything, and thus am I inhibited from those doting passions that are natural to other men. Thus am I senseless to the bliss that other men may partake in.
You do not condemn me for that which I have attempted?
I think it is foolish. I think it unworthy of a man of your assets and your position. But I do not condemn. It is of no use to frown upon another man's actions, better to smile at the fruits of one's own. Such measures have I taken. You may read it, if you wish. Hereafter you need not have fear of my writing ever again.
and you will then be silent so agreeably. I offer you nothing for it.
I want nothing for it. Only this.
This is your great work?
It is good. Only time may call it great. But I will never see it produced. I am to flee this country this very evening, and thus must I relay my duties to my successor, to my friend.
I am no friend of yours. I will never produce your play. I will never touch the pages that have imperiled me. I may remind you, due to your text, I am allotted a duel tonight. No amount of running on your part will change that, Monsieur Clement.
Leander exits.
He is right. I deeply fear the consequence of my thoughtless escapade, the consequence of this encounter twixt my friend Bellamy and le Comte, the consequence of the Duke's decision on my part in this, but above all, the consequence of Isabella's thoughts in my regard. How I had hoped this play would be to her satisfaction. A gift from a humble poet to such a lovely woman. Now it might be murder itself.
Isabella enters.
Poet, there is much that you must know.
I have committed a grave error. I have destroyed your marriage. I have compromised our companionship.
You have not done all that. My marriage to Leander, for what it was, I thought was worth preserving. I see now I was wrong. And as for your companionship, no greater gift could I be given this day.
It was wrong of me to use your husband's and Amelia's words for my own purpose, and to compel you to speak them unknowingly beyond a terrible deed.
I cannot rebuke you for your inspiration, poet. It is best that I know how it was you wrote such a scene, and why my husband protested so harshly against it.
Your gracious taking of all this amazes me, Madame le Comte. You have forgiven me, though I am unable to forgive myself.
You must forgive yourself. You must not allow this event to spell the close of your career.
I wrote the final scene just now. After agreeing to be wed to Captain D'Agostino, Alessandra meets another man, more bold in his approach, more charming in his demeanor. The Lieutenant Ernesto Peruzzi, a dazzler of the eye, an enchanter of the spirit, seduces Alessandra, and D'Agostino discovers it. Out of fury, out of envy, he becomes a monster enslaved to his distress and seeks the life of the lieutenant and his own lady. He succeeds in the murder of Peruzzi, but upon the sight of Alessandra he regrets that which he's become and stabs himself. Here is their final dialogue. Will you read?
Isabella comes to sit near him and looks over his shoulder.
Where is the man I knew? The one I treasured before.
Oh, he is dead. Long before this blade had pierced my flesh.
And may I never bid that man farewell?
He cannot hear you. He is lost in oblivion, his mind adrift, his heart beyond repair. He loved you then. How could a lady betray such a one?
With much regret, yet with so little thought. So little does not warrant your destruction.
It is done, no remedy. Speak your last unto that beast who killed your love and lover. Soon he will trouble you no more.
Are you now satisfied? You, who have done all this, are you content with all your work?
I cannot say I am. I have not achieved that which my former self aspired to do. That excellence has long avoided my grasp.
What excellence do you speak of?
William puts down the script.
You are the excellence I yearn for.
Poet, I am no paragon, no saint. I have lusted. I have done wrong, and that which I have not done, I have intended. You cannot think me the peerless lady of your play, whose fall was mistaking youthfulness. I cannot claim her innocence for my own.
I would be spared of such innocence every day. Would I prefer your goodness? You are good, my lady. I have noted it in your kindness, your endurance of your husband's cruelty, your gentleness towards me. Such is the woman I would choose.
No, I could never reflect my husband's fault.
I do not dare hope for anything more than this. The dialogue was from your husband, but the vision was from you. Now that my thoughts and affections are on the page, all that I wished for is fulfilled. I am content. This play is yours now.
I will, at some time, read it at length.
Good.
And what will you do now?
I am settled to retire my artistic life.
Retire? You are not yet 30.
I thought once that my writing was a well of endless depths. Now I concede it is a pool in drought. The wealth I once enjoyed is spent now. So am I spent as well.
And so you will quit altogether? How will you earn your living?
I may have need for that within His Grace's cabinet drawer.
You mean his... No. William, you cannot do such a thing. You mustn't.
Do not follow me. I am gone. This is my life now. And you are the world of its origin. Hold on to it and let me go.
Isabella takes the manuscript.
I will never understand you.
I know.
William exits. The Duke enters.
Clear this room, Bertram. We will need its space.
Yes, sir.
Bertram begins to move the couch. Helene begins to move the chair.
Your Grace, might I petition a postponement?
It may not be done.
But there's some matter.
None, woman. That would distract our purpose. To regain honor, to defend it, such is the utmost of our intentions now. Bertram, come with me. We are to attain the blades.
So we shall, Your Grace.
The Duke and Bertram exit.
Something has delayed him that I did not hear the gunshot straight away. I can imagine he would give himself some pause to utter prayers.
Enter the Duke and Bertram with swords.
We are prepared for the combatants. Le Comte Bellamy, enter at once.
Leander and Bellamy enter, followed by Amelia behind Bellamy.
Captain Leander le Comte, Lieutenant Gerard Bellamy, you fight today to defend the honor of yourselves and your own. Prior to your petulant encounter, speak your final words as peaceful men.
My piece is spoken already.
Hear me, Gerard. Though great your honor and mine may be, it is not worth your life. Yield to him.
Might I yield, Your Grace?
Not at all. It would denote bad form.
The dispute is far too severe for a truce, and the captain has never offered an apology. The duel itself is foregone.
Then apologize to him, Leander. Let not your heart be hard in this. You know your guilt on Bellamy's behalf. Repent of it, and bring this trial to peace.
I will not be labeled fool by all the world, or any other name without my due. Whilst my opponent stands there unrelentingly, I will do the same.
Then let us end this matter at once. I will see your blood spilled before I allow you to insult my Amelia's honesty.
So may you be considered a true man by many. I am prepared. Let him who is honest be preserved.
Engage at your own will.
Leander and Bellamy fight. Bellamy stabs Leander.
A hit! A very palpable hit! Will you take him for another bout, Captain?
I am not fearful of a little blood.
Then continue.
Leander and Bellamy continue. Leander stabs Bellamy.
Gerard!
Will you yield, Lieutenant?
I do not bleed, cowardice Le Comte. Another bout, or I will wish myself damned.
Leander and Bellamy fight some more. The duel leads to them both being compromised. In an act of desperation, Leander pulls out a dagger, and with his other hand stabs Bellamy in the stomach.
Gerard!
He pulls out his dagger, and Bellamy falls to the ground.
No, Bertram. Tend to him at once.
I will do my utmost, sir.
Bertram sees to Bellamy. Helene brings towels and a bowl of water.
I am guiltless of this. You are all witnesses. He has inflicted his own death upon himself.
Not a word from you.
Amelia,
Darling, you will be all right. We will see to it.
our lives were not as they should have been.
None of that.
Bring me some bandages, Helene.
Helene nods and exits in the same direction William had earlier.
I would I had never brought you to this place.
I would you hadn't too. Now careless words have wounded both of us.
Bang! Off stage. Helene runs in, horrified. She needs to tell them what happened, but she can't.
What was that?
William.
Bertram exits. Bertram re-enters.
Monsieur Clement has shot himself. He is dead.
William,
Leander takes out handkerchief and wipes his sword. Isabella stares at him.
You have won.
Of course I have.
End of play.